this dude had commented on one of our posts, or one of the posts that I put up a while back, and I was telling the dude that I basically built you into the wife that you are for me now.
Okay.
And that's interesting to me because I had a couple of different people ask, like, what in the world did I mean by that? Mm-hmm. But before I go into, like, what I meant by that, would you even say that you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I think we've both groomed each other to be the right people for each other.
Okay.
In so many different seasons at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, depending on the season, the goal, what our values are in that moment, like, yes, we've groomed each other to be the right wife and the right husband for each other, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So without even knowing what I told him, what do you think my response to that is? Like, just knowing that I groomed my wife into being the wife that she is for me. Like, what do you think, like, my response to that is? When he asking, what did I mean by that?
I think you probably told him that you needed to know how to communicate your needs to me and explain it in a way that I can understand it. I feel like you probably told him that you had to examine yourself first to know what you needed in whatever season it was, so you can, like, welcome me into whatever it is to support you. I don't know. I guess, like, that's about it. I don't know any, like, long-winded. I mean, I'm sure your answer was very long-winded, but that's really that's really all I can think of right now. Like, you just being able to know what you need and be able to communicate it to me in whatever season it is.
So I didn't respond to him as of yet. Okay. Well, no. I responded, but I was like, I'm gonna make a video basically talking about it.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, that video was already made, and I did actually say pretty much all of that.
Okay.
And I was basically getting at in the video that the only way I was able to do that was first by being extremely self-aware of who I am and what I desire out of life and what my future self is and who I want to become.
Yeah.
And then being also extremely self-aware of what my values and my standards are and all of that. Mm-hmm. And being able to communicate that to you in a way to where it gives you the opportunity to be able to show up for me as a wife, best friend, supporter, helpmate, all of those good things that I need.
Yeah. Because
the only way for you to be able to be the wife that I need is for me first to be able to know who I am and who I'm working to become. Mm-hmm. So that way I can equip you with the knowledge that you need to know about me to be able to support me as I grow into that.
Absolutely.
And that's like the same thing that I do for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because that's one of those things that you can't fake, you can't manipulate it. It takes a high level of care, interest, all of those things, because you even have to learn how to see through me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
We have to learn how to be able to see through the doubt, the limiting beliefs, and all of those things, all of those other human aspects of each other, because we also have to be able to support each other in ways that sometimes can be difficult. Mm-hmm. And we have to be able to see through those moments where we can be our own worst enemies and then be able to be like, nah, babe, like, that ain't you.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
You know how many times I've had to snatch the devil out? I'm just kidding. The self-doubt. That's what we gonna call it. The self-doubt out of you. Like, being like, nah, babe, that ain't you. Like, I don't know who this is talking right now, but this ain't it. Mm-hmm. And then I will tell you, no, this is who you are. Mm-hmm. You're a man who does what he says. You're passionate about it. Like, and I would like just pour in you. I'm like, we need to drown this. Whatever this is in your head, we need to drown it out. And let me give you the evidence on who you are, because freak that. Freak that.
Right.
Yeah. It makes me mad because I be like, because I look at you as such, I'm like you like a role model low key. So like when those moments come, I be pissed because I'm like, how dare something like that come up in you, like stir up in you and try to take this moment from you, like from you moving forward, like that. No. Let me tell you something real quick. I just went off. Did I just go off?
Sometimes you got to do that.
No, because I be mad. The devil be busy and I be ready to...
Swing on him.
Be ready to swing. Oh my God.
But that's really it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know me in a way that nobody else can.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from years of observation,
Mm-hmm.
of you being able to see me in ways that nobody else can.
Yeah.
Me being able to show you different parts of myself and be vulnerable with you and open up to and do all of these things that really let you in,
Mm-hmm.
but also paying such close attention to me to where you start to recognize my own patterns and things that I don't say.
Yeah.
And seeing how I actually think and how I actually respond to certain things, you know, be it situational, be it more emotional things, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Like you learn how to be able to see through those moments and knowing how I naturally and genuinely respond to those things.
Right.
And like that just takes time, like intention, effort, and all of those
Interest.
things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in doing those things, when you're with somebody for a long enough period of time, you really do like groom them into being everything that you need them to be for you. By having that level of vulnerability and transparency and all of that.
Yeah, but that's something they also want too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can say, "Oh, I groomed my wife," but I want it to be groomed for you.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Because like people can read into that the wrong way, and it's like, no, I want it to be the wife that you needed. I loved you so much, I was willing to challenge myself to do difficult things in order for me to become the wife that you needed in this season. And it took a lot of freaking effort because my man is very ambitious. So it's like, yeah, no, I want it to be groomed by you. I want it to be this version of me for you.
And what's dope about that is even in us grooming each other for each other, there's also a whole lot of personal self-work that also has to be done.
Absolutely.
So that way we can even carry and uphold a responsibility of taking care of each other.
Absolutely.
So it's like you have to be well grounded and solid in yourself, proud of who you are, and doing all of those things to build you up. So that way when those opportunities come for you to be able to show up in a way that nobody else can, you're equipped and you have that overflow of energy and ability to be able to care and show up and all of those things because of the time that you took to take care of you. And so in you taking care of yourself, it also creates a space for you to take care of me at the highest level.
Listen, that's so real. I mean, I remember us having conversations within the last 2 years of me just being very intentional about who I was becoming. I literally told you, like, I need to become the wife you need in this season, because you don't need me to be like timid or shy you don't need that from me right now. You need me to be here right by you, like, and us like bucking up to whatever is coming. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't need my doubts, my insecurities. I didn't need that anymore. So it was like, okay, what work can I do on myself to make sure that I can rise to the occasion? So when my husband is ready to take off, I'm right there with him. Like, he has no doubt in what we can accomplish because of me being weak in certain areas at the time, you know, and that's just what it is. So yeah, I definitely put myself in certain situations to where I could grow to make sure I was right for you in this season. And this is us over 10 years in, and I still had to make myself in a certain way for you, for us to get to where we want to go ultimately with a shared vision. Now, definitely got to put that part in there too.
We're growing towards something that we've both agreed on.
Absolutely.
And it's so dope because, again, that's one of those things that we've done for each other in so many different points of our lives together. Like, even though it's focused towards you at the moment of us talking about it, like, and how you've done that same thing for me multiple times. Like, we were just talking about this last night. Like, I've had so many moments where I feel like I had to, like, not reinvent myself, but realign myself with who I am and taking off old images and old beliefs and doubts and things like that came from my past that I didn't realize were there until a period came up to where I had to address it in order to grow into who I needed to be for you and our family and our shared vision and what we're working toward. But it was the clarity that came from where we were going that created the opportunity for me to be able to see those shortcomings and be like, hey, this got to be addressed. Otherwise, you can't lead your wife the way that you need to. You can't lead your family the way that you need to until you take care of whatever this is over here. And then me being able to see that and to work on it and to bring my wife in and be like, baby, like I'm gonna be working on this thing, this thing, and I don't know what's happening right now, but I gotta take care of it. And being able to bring you in on those moments so that way as you see me working on myself and making these changes and adjustments and things like that, there's no questions. He's like, hey, he got to do what he got to do for him. So that way he could be right to be able to better take care of us and do things like that. And that's where that huge abundance of value come in when you're keeping each other included in the process of change.
Yeah. And even in that, I care about who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I've said that many times before. Like, yes, you are my husband, but I care about you to a core level. Like, what you want in your life and where you're trying to go. Like, I care about those things. Even if I had nothing to do with it, I still care about that for you. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like, that's a big reason as to why I'm just down for you. Like, that's just really what it is. Like, you're just a dope person. And I think it's easy for us to be willing to adjust for each other because we care about each other on a such deeper level. It's not about just freaking paying the bills and doing little small stuff. It's like, no, you want to do some big things in life, and I want to be here to support you through that. So what do I have to do to make sure you see that through?
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think what's so amazing in our connection that way is the fact that we really do genuinely want the best for each other.
Yes.
And we can see that in the most like honest and pure way when it comes to how we support each other. Because I know, man, it can always be a little bit difficult when your spouse has to go through a process that may be unfamiliar or something that you don't necessarily closely relate to or whatever the case may be. But the fact that we're so willing to invite each other in those moments and still show up and still be there, like it says a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It says so much because it's not even about us understanding in those moments as much as it is about us just being there. And I love the fact that we've always been able to do that just because we care.
Right.
Like, even if we can't relate to the problem, it's like, well, I don't need to relate. Like, that's what you got going on, and I care about you. So what do we got to do to handle this thing?
Right.
So we can get to where we're trying to go together.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I love that we have that. And I feel like when it comes to grooming your wife into being who you need her to be for you, or a woman or a wife grooming her husband into who she needs him to be for her, it really comes down to a high level of care and empathy and vulnerability and self-awareness on the person's part, to where you can just be able to be all of who you are and like let your spouse in and give them the opportunity to show up for you in a way that nobody else can. Because they already have a level of access to you that nobody else does.
Absolutely.
They already see you in ways that nobody else does.
Yeah.
So when you let them into those, what could be dark places, when you let them into those intimate places that like nobody else sees, it gives them the opportunity to do for you what nobody else can. And that's what like makes the connection so valuable and so genuine and intimate, because it's like, no, you see me for all of who I am, flaws and all, no matter my limiting beliefs or my doubts or whatever it is that I have going on. Like you really see me, and you still have decided to love me and see all of this through, and you're still showing up.
Yes.
And so now you become perfectly groomed for the person that you've decided to do life with.
Yes.
So that's how I see it. That's like partnership and work to me.
It is. I agree, baby.
Like you over there pondering on a rock or something.
No, I just, when we talk, my mind is always like going in the midst of the conversation. And I'm like, it just made me think like that's what marriage is a part of marriage is about, like building each other into versions of yourself that you would not have become without each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hope that came out right.
Yeah. And the reason why is because so many people think that they have this version, like that they don't need nobody.
Right.
Like, and it's not that you can't become great or something like that on your own, but it's different when you have somebody in your life who you're tied to. Mm-hmm. It's a different type of responsibility.
Yeah.
Like you can't just be like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Like now every decision that you make also involves somebody else. Like who you're becoming, you have to become somebody that you love and also that this other person can grow with and love and all of these different things. Like you have so much more to include. Mm-hmm. And so to me, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Like
you're doing life together.
You made me lose my train of thought, but yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry, boo.
No, it's all good. Because I would not have become the woman that I am today without you. Like, I needed you. There were blind spots that I had in me that needed to be addressed, but I was blind to it. Mm-hmm. I didn't know certain things about me needed to change. And even though I wasn't, you know how you can know something needs to change, but you don't know exactly what it is?
Yeah.
You've always been there to help me pinpoint certain things, like dive deep into whatever it is and help me pick through it, even when it was ugly. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can't do that by yourself all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like some things you can't see, some things you don't develop, some things you're not even aware of until you have someone who is so intertwined in what you got going on to even see it.
Yeah.
You know, because like people will be like, okay, well, I can do it by myself. But like sometimes people don't even really know the real you and you're afraid to dig it out on your own too. So it's like, it's dope to have someone who is just so like, you're so here with me. You just see stuff that I can't see and you're there to help me sort through it. And you've chosen to do that.
Absolutely.
And that's dope.
It's like recognizing your partner's patterns.
Yeah.
And seeing them in ways that, again, you can't see yourself. Because, you don't get to stand outside of your body and see you. It's like being able to see like the little quirks that they have that like nobody else realizes.
Right.
From like, I know when you feel uncomfortable or awkward, or I know like when you do this particular type of laugh, it's because you're feeling this way. Or I know how when you are starting to have those moments of doubt, like I know what your patterns are. Yes. So I know how to hop in and like stop that before it becomes this big thing.
Right.
And when you get overwhelmed, I know how you might shut down or like how your mind can start to play tricks on you. So I know how to accommodate that and then be able to help you ease yourself out of those moments. Mm-hmm. And like those are like the small things that you pick up over time.
And doing it gladly. Mm-hmm. Like I joyfully come to your rescue when things like that happen. I know you joyfully come to my rescue. You know, because like I know like even we're talking about it and it can seem like it's such an overwhelming thing to do. It's like, that's a lot of responsibility for someone to have to help you out. But it's like, it's so natural. Like when you care enough and you love somebody enough, like I have no problem like reading you and finding like the small details about you. Like, what can I fix in the moment? How can I support you? Like you say little things and I'm like, okay, well, how can I help him with this? It's like finding opportunities to serve each other.
What's interesting about that is people will call that overwhelming in that space, but it's how you operate in excellence in the area that you care about.
Exactly.
Because if you've gotten to any level of success in any area of life, you have a level of care and like caution and like preparation and understanding when it comes to dealing with whatever that thing is. Mm-hmm. It's like if you're at a high level of business, you understand your customers at a way that they may not even understand themselves.
Right.
So you know how to handle those objections. You know how to overcome certain limiting beliefs and talk to them and cater to them in a certain way. You know how certain things may impact them in certain ways. It's like, even with bodybuilding, you understand that like, it's not just moving weight. You have to be able to control the freaking weight as you bring it down and let it up slow, and knowing that you have to be able to do these things, consistently, make every single rep mimic each other. Like you have a level of intention that other people don't, who are also working out or running business or in the marriage or whatever. But when you reach a certain level of excellence, you do it at a level that most people don't understand because they're not that intentional about it. Mm-hmm. And so people are familiar with it. They just may only be familiar with it in one area of their lives where maybe they have reached a level of excellence in it, mm-hmm. to where they pay hyper close attention to it. And then if they haven't yet, then maybe they still won't understand this, mm-hmm. But it takes getting to that point to where when you care so much, it's not a hassle. It's not overwhelmed. Right. It's something that I'm glad that I get to do at this level. Mm-hmm. And it's like when we were talking the other day, he was like, the way that you are for me as a wife, it don't take any real thought. Like you don't contemplate about it. Like mm-hmm. you don't see it as overwhelming or a lot the way some women might. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I just do this. Like I operate at this level because like you just do this. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I love being
your wife. When exactly. I'm gonna fucking crush it. I'm sorry.
and like that's how we are about each other. With you being a wife or me being a husband, like the way that we show up for each other, mm-hmm. it might seem like a lot to some people, but when you've been doing this thing at a certain level for so long, like it's not a lot to me. Like I just like this is just it's like learning to ride a bike. Like it seems overwhelming when you can't do it, but the moment you reach that level of excellence with, like, you don't put no thought into it. Like mm-hmm. I am just being. Mm-hmm. And to you, because you're not there yet, it may seem like a lot. Mm-hmm. But when you reach this level of mastery, it's not so overwhelming.
Absolutely.
So, expert level wife over there, man.
I mean, I take pride in being your wife. Listen, I'm going to do it and do it well.
Come on.
I'm only getting better.
I know. And I'm doing my best, to give you the best, highest level husband that I can be. Like I want to give you the best of what I can be in all of the areas.
You're an amazing husband, which is why I strive to be an amazing wife.
Still climbing.
Together.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I'm loving it.
Me too.
Because I don't call this or find this to be work. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And I genuinely love every bit of it with you.
Me too, baby.
That's my girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode and that you've gotten something out of it somewhere in all of what we've shared. But yeah, man, had a good time with you, baby.
Same.
So, and I hope you guys, have again gotten a lot of value out of it through whatever this conversation evolved into.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't even know how we started, but
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. But anyway, man, thank you guys so much for just taking this time to be with us. And until next time, family, my name is John Tron. This is my beautiful queen.
Adoria.
We are a one dope couple. And then to the next episode. Peace and love.